Detecting talk of the day, April 23rd, 8:24. I don't do too many detecting talk of the days number 2, but I think this is some good information for people. Multi-frequency metal detectors. You know, there's more and more people using them, and there's still some using single frequency detectors. You got to use what you want. Sharpshooter's not going to condemn anybody for using a single frequency metal detector. Okay. There are benefits to be had from a multi-frequency. It's clear based on my use and testing. Now, somebody's asked a question in one of my YouTubes that I did yesterday showing the Manticore. Want to know about, oh, well, which one's better in the aluminum modern trash? Okay. Here's the deal. You all think about this because it's true. A lot of your detectors, even today, this could have happened yesterday. Let's say you're a park hunter. You're a park hunter. You see me show that video of that Manticore? That small piece of can slaw had that silver dime looking more like a zinc and penny for ID. So all your multi-frequency machines, now I've not run a Versa, okay. Some of these multi-frequency metal detectors, they are using lower frequency in some of their modes. DS2, Manticore. I believe they did an update with a Legend after I discovered that machine wasn't for the hill of beans in modern trash was initially released. So, using that lower frequency can give you benefit, but it doesn't get you maybe where you need to be. Remember, if everybody goes to a site running the multi-frequency mode on a machine, the Manticore, the Equinox, the DS2. Now the DS2 is using some pretty low frequency there with that 14 kilohertz and whatever else, maybe 4 kilohertz it's using with that. Well, that's going to expose more of your targets being masked, you know, with some of the smaller, lower conductive trash. But that still doesn't get you all of the mass targets. Okay? So for example, you could be running deep high conductor, Park 1 on an Equinox, all-terrain high conductors on the Manticore, and I guess it's M3, if I'm not mistaken, on the Legend. One of them modes using lower frequency. I don't know which one it is. You could still have a silver dime using those detectors yielding a zinc and penny ID. Now it would take a higher conductive or maybe bigger piece of lower conductive trash to mask that target, to drive that ID down to zinc and penny range. Now I'm using zinc and penny range here as an example. And on every one of those detectors, this applies to all the detectors. What I showed with the Manticore yesterday applies to the Equinox. You Equinox users, you should look at that video. You can be using the Equinox 800, 900, 600, 700. You can come upon a signal in a park that's got a zinc and penny ID. You could transition to a field 2 or park 2, and you may expose a lower conductive masker. Alright? And if you've seen that, you would call into question the ID you originally got on the target that stopped you in the first place. So yeah, some people may think this sounds corny, like, well, boy, that sounds like a lot of trouble, sharpshooter. Well, here's the deal. if you walk on it and the guy comes behind you and does what sharpshooter says, he may dig it. Or lady, you know, there's ladies detect too. I use the word boys a lot in my videos. I probably should quit that. So you have to, you know, what you're doing is you're using your lower conductive multi-frequency program to maybe, and now you can do this with a fast program, sensitive FT, a 40 max frequency on the DS2, but you're using your program with your notch to cull targets. You use your notch and you say, okay, for example, on a DS2, I'm going to set my notch to 80. Every target that comes in that machine, I'm going to have a look at it. Now, you remember, running a notch of 80, a standalone silver diamond at 7 inches is still going to give the, you know, a high ID for you to dig. But that's the only way. Okay? Even using single frequency, for example, on the Equinox, let's say you want to use 4 or 5 kilohertz, or even a lower frequency on the Legend. Well, guess what? You can still have a silver dime with aluminum trash, masking it, driving the ID down. And you could be fooled, like, well, that ain't no silver coin, that's an old zinc penny or an old aluminum twist cap. So when you go to a multi-frequency program with a higher weight frequency run or whatever, and you don't see any lower conductive trash, you may see the same ID you got before. What if you see a zinc and penny ID when you go to Part 2 or Field 2 on an Equinox 800? What would that tell you? Or wonder if the signal got weak and you didn't get any ID. Well, that would suggest maybe the only thing is there is a deeper whatever that reads closer to the ID you got originally using, say, Part 1 on the Equinox 800. So this is a strategy to use. This is a strategy to use to get targets out. Now remember this, and this is important. You know, in a park, you could have a person walk into a park today with a Simplex, with an AT Pro. And they're looking for coins, and maybe they're looking for gold rings. Well, there could be some signals in there. The ID is so low, they don't meet gold ring criteria for these people. So they don't dig them. Okay? All right, camera back out. So yeah, these people could be in a site and they may latch on to a small piece of Kenslaw that reads what they would decide is, well, that's not a gold ring, it's reading too low, I'll leave that. Well, that could be a masker. There could be a silver coin under that or in the vicinity. Or they could get a gold ring reading signal. The gold ring may only be a couple of inches deep. They dig it and they hoist out a gold ring. And underneath that gold ring, about 7 inches under it, is a silver coin. Their detector might not even, if they put the plug back in, it may not even hit the coin. Okay? Or they may not sweep because they're so tickled with the gold ring. Well, they walk off, oh, I got what I got. And a week later, here comes a Manicore user right through there. Uh-oh, the gold ring masker, that reads a lot like a lot of, is gone, and now the Manicore user gets 85 in the meter and goes down and gets out a silver dime. So, you know, you got a lot of people in these parks using these machines. Well, if they're all operating under the same, if they're all running them the same way and they're wanting the machine, you know, oh, I'll just put this baby in, for example, ultra-rate high conductors on this Manicore and I'm going to go sniff out the goods. Well, you can. Question is, though, is there some things you can do to sniff out some of the stuff that everybody's left behind, to even include the user that's using a Manticore. Maybe they were in there a week earlier running a Manticore. So you have to do this. Unless, you know, you want to go in there and you want to dig out every swinging signal. Well, I don't want to do that. I don't really want to go to a park, to be honest with you, and dig a 64 reading signal, for example, an all-terrain high conductor. A 64 reading signal, and I'm hunting for the money. If I go to all-terrain low conductors on that target, and I don't see any lower conductive masking over that spot in the ground, I don't want to dig that target. That's just me. That's not going to be a silver coin in all likelihood. Okay? And that's why I shared this, you know. And then remember, you know, certain models you can transition modes faster than others, which makes this less painstaking, don't take as much time. DS2 is good, the Manticore's good too if you'll use that soft key. Set it up with this latest update. I guess maybe the original update allowed for that. The update allowed for some more stuff with the soft key, but that's, you know, that's big. Now the Equinox, I think you can set a favorite mode up on it, maybe. I ain't run mine in a while, I give it away. I thought that's the least I could do. Somebody does, you know. Well, anyway, that's going to conclude the video. I hope you enjoyed.